All right, giving everybody a moment to join. Just wanted to make sure that I could see myself on the monitor, which I can. Welcome everybody. Apollo is in the other room eating his well-deserved breakfast, and we're going to get started today on your weekly collective. Thank you so much for everybody who voted. I love today's topic. We're going to be looking at how to basically create a new chapter in our lives and to stop repeating history, which is a really good topic. So my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that we organize each and every reading is I like to start with some channeled messages, which we'll get into first, and then we'll look at the seven-day forecast because we're doing a weekly. And then we have a lot of other fun stuff that will come, but we'll get to that one thing at a time. First of all, I would love for you to hit that like, subscribe, and also the bell icon so that you can stay in touch with me as I start to launch new content. One thing that I announced on the community tab is that I'm going to start some shorter form and some medium form content. So, I do long form, which is staying. I've been doing the daily reads, and I'm going to start to add some other things in there, some 7-minute videos, maybe up to 10-minute ones. And we'll see how that goes. Apollo just came back, so once he gets settled, maybe I'll bring him up here in a second. So let's please, if you haven't already subscribed, do that. You can also keep in touch with me on social media. One quick note, please remember I don't do private readings, I don't send messages, I don't follow people, etc. There's a lot of folks out there that are trying to pretend that they're me, but they're not. So these are some good things to think about whenever you're approached by one of those imposters. If you'd like to show love and support, it's always optional, and you can always do it through the official channels of either YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And here you can choose this icon right there. All right, that, my friends, is everything. Let's start to talk about the channel messages, and then we'll get more into format after that. And I'll bring up Apollo maybe after we do the channel messages. We'll do the channel messages, and then I'll light the candle too. We'll do a benediction. All right, so for the channel messages today, it was very interesting last night because a lot of what was going on in dreams has to do with the topic that you chose. I was shown like threads and yarn and this gigantic loom. And when I woke up this morning, I'm like, of course I am, because we're going to be looking at the fates. We'll be looking at past, present, future, how to create something new in our lives. So that's in fact what we'll be looking at today. So let me pull up the presentation. We'll talk about it, and we'll go from there. All right. So as I said, the loom came through. I was looking at all these different threads, and then I realized we're going to talk about the Norns in mythology, which are analogous to the fates in Greek mythology. We're looking at Nordic mythology here today. So there's actually a cool card in the Wildwood Tarot that reminded me a little bit about what I was picking up on energetically, and that was this beautiful Wheel of Fortune. And we can see that there is, on this sort of loom, you've created the threads of your life, like this t-shirt that I'm wearing. So I think that as I was taking apart the symbology of what I was looking at, all the threads, because we embody all three of these supernatural beings, which I'll talk about in a second, but the threads and the different fabrics, they're basically showing you the choices that you can make. The loom itself is the vehicle through which you can bring that idea or that potential into being. But it requires what? You, an operator. And we are the operators. We are the active creators in our life. We are not beholden to 3 mythological creatures. I love mythology, but we are actively creating. We're co-creating with God in the universe. So yes, there are other things that are affecting us, but we are driving the car, and that is a really powerful thing. And that's why all of us continue to come back to this particular planet, because there's a lot of free will here. There's not free will in every single dimension and every single planet and every single place in the universe. So that's an exciting thing. It's a powerful thing, and that's why we can learn so much while we're living on this planet. So you are a personification of all the elements, past, present, and future, and you're operating in the present. So just a little bit of understanding of what the Norns are, again, very analogous to the Fates. There are 3. Basically, I'm not going to even try to pronounce their names. It's kind of like Erd, Verdandi, and Skuld, I think. But for all of my Nordic and Scandinavian friends, you can put phonetics below so we know how to say it. But basically, it's what once was, what's coming into being, and what shall be. I really like the present tense one, what is coming into being. You're creating again. I would say the future one is like what may be. It's kind of like the Christmas Carol, shadows of what may be. Or when we look at Star Wars, where Yoda is talking about the future always being in flux. It's hard to see it. So I love that ancient cultures thought that it could be sort of like carved in stone or cut in thread. But you and I know that the future is much more hazy, and it's much more affected by the here and the now. But as mythology dictates here, the Norns would be present at the birth of a child, and they would assess its lifespan, and then they would cut the threads and create the tapestry of its life. You're doing that for yourself in each and every choice that you do in each and every day that you live. But it's kind of cool to think that some mythological creatures could be doing this. Fun fact, though, the Norns were sort of beyond gods. I need to continue watching it. I've only seen the first episode, but I've read the entire graphic novel series of The Sandman. And what was cool with the Endless was that they were basically this sort of undying, they could die, but then they would be reborn. They were these undying entities, personifications of things like death and desire and delirium and all of that stuff. So these three things were personifications of time, and they were above gods, basically. I would say even gods were probably beholden to them, which is a kind of cool thing because that doesn't happen that often in mythology. So fun fact with them. I chose judgment here because there's always a chance to learn from the past, which is what we're going to talk about next, and also become something new. And I think judgment has all of the nice features of past, present, and future. You're at the same time who you were in the past, you're choosing what you want to be now, and you're dictating the paths that are going to lead to possibilities in the future. So the choices, the judgment that you kind of use from day to day is absolutely affecting everything. So let's break it down, past, present, future, and then we'll get into the 7-day reading. So I strongly believe that the past is context. We can't change it. We can learn from it. We can choose to dwell in it if we want to. But the Six of Swords is probably the best piece of advice that tarot could give us. Let it be, kind of using that old Beatles song, right? Just let it go, let it be, let it exist, and learn from it and turn the page. We can't change it, but we can always garner something and choose not to repeat it. Because until we learn the lessons, we're instead of going for the Six of Swords, we would be in the Eight of Cups. It would be a repeat cycle. It would just keep happening again and again. Today is the most powerful day because it's the day that you're living. It's not the past. It's not where you're headed. Today is the most important day. This is the most important moment. This is the most important incarnation because it's the one that you're living. And it's all about choices, Seven of Cups. And it's all about potential. And this year, this new sort of mantra came to me for all of us, which is I can, I will, and I am. And we always end with I am, because that is the state of being. It's an active form. I will is basically saying that you want to on some levels. I want you to be doing something. So you're really going to be focusing on the I am to do what we were talking about here, which was to write a new chapter. Okay? You are powerful. Maybe someone in your life told you you weren't. And so for you to get into the future possibilities here, I want you to think of this final bullet point, which is your mantra. You're a powerful being capable of manifesting your hopes and dreams. So put it in the I am state. I am a powerful being capable of manifesting my hopes and dreams. And being is cool because you are more than just this body. So I didn't inadvertently leave out the word human. You are a powerful being. And being is also a state of being. So that's something that you want to think about in this manifestation. You can meditate on two cards, the Two of Wands, which I featured here, and the High Priestess, because they work in tandem. But you need to have the Two of Wands first. So we'll go to the other bullets here. Create a plan. It's always more effective if you know where you're going. Know what you stand for. Know what you want to say if someone says, you know, what do you want to do? Or what do you think about this? We've talked about that a lot in all of the readings this month. Setting goals is also important. It's beyond a plan. A plan is how you're going to do it. Goals are other things that you want to stretch for. Let your dreams come in and interrupt. I should even say disrupt things and then let them take root, because dreams come in when we need them most. And sometimes they're inconvenient because it's but I've already achieved this, or I'm comfortable here. But then you're but I really want to do this. Listen to that. That's the universe whispering to you and saying there's more to come. There's more to explore. Think of all of the possibilities, not all of the impossibilities, all of the restrictions, all of the expectations. And then remember that you are powerful and capable, and you are going to manifest what you want to manifest. Okay? And these are the things that came to me this morning as I glanced at our topic, as I connected with the dreams that we had talked about. And I'm excited to see where this all leads. All right. I feel very drawn to possibly use the Wildwood for the main spread, and I'm just going to go over, look and see which deck I want to use right now, and then we'll get started. So again, the next thing that we're going to take a look at is the 7-day forecast. So let's take a look, and before we do that, let me light the candle. We'll set intentions here. So let me take this off for 1 second. Okay. So before we pull any cards here, close your eyes for a moment, see the sunlight or the moonlight shining on you. And while you're standing in this golden or silver light, I want you just to, 1, give a moment of gratitude for making time for yourself today to tune in. And 2, set an intention to connect to the highest light, the highest good, and be open to receive. So we welcome in that divine energy. And we ask for protection from the archangels, Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael, to help us with protection, to help us tune in, and to help us with any sort of healing that needs to be done in our lives. Okay. All right, let's use the field tarot for the 7-day forecast, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's zoom in and begin. Again, we're going to look at the 7-day forecast going from this Sunday to next Sunday, and let's see what the messages are. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and let's pull a couple for next weekend. Saturday and Sunday. All right. And let's see what the messages are for today. All right. So we're going to begin with today, and we have the beautiful King of Swords. When I was pulling the weekly cards, or the daily cards, I should say, this week, we did get a lot of swords coming through, which is cool, which is all about communication. So I'm not surprised to see the King of Swords coming through for today. What's really cool with this, so for those of you watching live, or even if you're watching it on Monday, I know it's later in some parts of the world, this is really saying that you have the capacity, and I love the caption on this one, the authority, to say what you need to say and to set limits in your life. Too often, we let other people step in and dictate who we are, what's possible, what we're going to do. This card is really reminding you that you and you alone are the one that is basically, that should be sort of setting all of this stuff up. So finding your voice, using your voice, and also putting things down into the universe, into writing, into, this card is about, it can be like legal contracts, curriculum, written and spoken word. So what are you doing to actually take it and bring it into the world? So with the loom, for instance, we had all of this potential stuff, but You, the operator, were sitting there and weaving things and creating things. So with this, you're using spoken word, written word, and actions. And that's what the king would be kind of imploring to make all of this happen. So that's your sort of homework assignment today, is to take something and bring it to the next level through one of those things: words, written, documents, or action. And that would be my advice for Sunday. The cool thing with this, though, is that you can also step into that power of what we would normally see with the emperor, but these are all kings, so it's the same thing. So you can speak up, you can take action. And that's pretty much it. It's a great card. So any difficult conversations, also just any sort of engagements that you have, you're going to be put in a position where people are more inclined to listen to you, and you can probably accomplish more of what you wanted to accomplish. Now let's go into the work week here, starting off with Monday. We have a slightly lower energy in the rank of the court cards when we're looking at swords here. We have Prince of Swords, which is the knight, if we translate it. The cool thing with knights, even though they're not the king, is that they can get stuff done. So today, Sunday, if you're watching it live, a lot of what you'll be doing is declaring things or setting things into motion, but you may not actually be manually doing it. Monday is the day where you could sort of roll up your sleeves and get things done. It's also a really good time to take something from one person to another, even though this isn't a page card. Knights can do that. A lot of what they had to do sometimes was run errands. They're just more empowered in that, and they have more voice and authority. So it's a really good day if you need to bridge the gap between two different points of view, like, maybe there's a couple of family members on the fence of things to do, and you're going to be the one that's like the voice of reason and kind of steering them in the right direction. In a workplace, even if you aren't the decision maker or the client or whatever, you're the one that's going to play the middle and help them get into alignment. So there's a peacekeeping energy that I'm picking up on as I'm intuitively tuning into this. And I also just think it's a great day to get out there and get things done in general. This is very much a doing card. And usually with the Knight of Swords, things start to happen quickly. So you want to keep up the pace and focus on what's important. Don't get distracted. If you do that, I feel it's going to be a great day. I love the Hermit card. As we go into Tuesday, there's going to be a little bit of friction for some of you because the Hermit is reversed, as you can see. And some of you, because you've had a couple of busy days here talking and doing, you may just want to, keep it quiet and do what you want to do. And this card is basically saying people are going to be knocking on your door, picking up the phone and saying, hey, what do you think about this? And so you're going to have a little bit of a dance between personal time, privacy, and I think your popularity or the need for people to kind of reach out and have you do things. So limits are going to be really important. Having boundaries and limits on how much and how often you're willing, ready, or capable of giving. That's going to be important. Don't second guess your wisdom. The Hermit has done all the work necessary to become strong and powerful. But when the card is reversed, much like the High Priestess in reverse, sometimes there can be this inner questioning. Now, if you know better and you think someone's research is off, you can call that out. I would look it up first and see if you can kind of clarify that. You might want to just suggest to someone, I like what you're saying. I would love to just take a deeper dive and make sure that we've checked everything out before we begin. That's a nice way of letting them know that you might have some concerns, but that you're still supportive of the direction or whatever. But yeah, this is basically saying, you know your stuff. If someone else doesn't know their stuff, then definitely get the data and bring it in front of them so that you can save some time later. A lot to unpack for Tuesday. It's going to be a good day, though. The Hermit, to me, I always like to imagine it kind of like a wizard. Anything's possible with it. It just has to kind of figure out how to negotiate the need for privacy, sometimes the self-doubt that goes into feeling like it needs to keep researching and reading, and then the ability just to share all of this insight with others. There's a lot of insight with the Hermit. It's just about letting it out, and that's the challenge on Tuesday. Okay. Also, there could be someone that's playing hard to get. either in a relationship or a person that you need to get to sign something or decide something, they're playing hide and go seek with you a little bit. So that could be a challenge as well. Okay, moving on to midweek. That's a little bit of what I'm picking up on here. So if someone, one day, usually we don't worry about it, but if it's like the second day and you're not getting an answer, we can start to see that it could be more than just them being busy. So in the terms of a relationship, someone might be trying to send you a message and just say like, keep your distance. You're nobody's fool. I always love it when we see a fox on the Seven of Swords. There's another deck that does it, and I can't think of it offhand. It may, in fact, be the Wildwood, but it's always good to see that because you can't outfox the fox. So with this, there's always a choice. Like 5 and 7 of Swords, I talk about them being sibling or cousin cards because they're very similar in energy. The 7, it's just clear that someone's trying to deceive you. The 5, someone just doesn't want to listen. And a lot of times they have the same kind of habits and personalities, and these two just sort of enable each other. So I think that if someone acts up or shows their true colors, you don't want to second guess it. You don't want to start to think that maybe it's me. It looks like it is this person, and they are dealing with, I think their deception kind of like hits in a couple of ways. They're not ready to look at something. And so until they're ready to look at it, they're kind of telling themselves a lie. Or they're just having a hard time saying the truth. And whatever it is, you can do better. For yourself, if we take it out of the realm of people around you, just be very honest with yourself when it comes to what you want to do, what you need to do, what challenges might be in front of you. So this is just basically saying that until you're ready, don't commit. And the best sort of thing that I can pull out of the 7 of Swords when it's reversed is that you know what not to do, and you know that if you say you're going to do something, it's not going to happen. So trust that. Don't overcommit. Sometimes the 7 of Swords reverse can be good intentions gone bad. So saying yes to 3 different people when you can really only help 1 or 2. Saying that you're going to attend an event when you have no intention of doing that. Telling yourself that today is the first day that you're going to take care of your health or well-being, but knowing that you're going to go party later. So just be honest. If there's something that you are not ready to start or that you can't commit to finishing, don't do that today. Get ready first and then make the commitment, because karmically, it's just not a great thing to make a promise and not keep it. Okay? So accountability, transparency, and honesty. Those are the ways to get through that energy. So the midweek presents some challenges, but you're the fox in this. So you can see the challenge before it happens, and you're just going to be smart about how you plan out what you're going to do. The fox is standing in the way of this path and just saying, we're not going to do that. Okay? Let's move on to Thursday. Thursday's great. We have the Strength card coming through. It may be reversed, but I typically read that as a need to take care of yourself, not that you are not strong. So the card itself is saying, I am strong, I am capable, which we put in that final card that I had for you in the slides. I like the contemplative energy. She's thinking, she's focusing on what she wants to do before stepping into the next moment in time. So be willing to take a pause and be okay with other people, maybe making them wait a little bit before you do something, because when we think of like an emperor, an empress, or a king or a queen card, or strength, they're strong enough that people are willing and ready to wait because it's worth the wait. So if you need to take care of yourself, take a personal day, go to the doctor, talk to a counselor, whatever it is that you need to do to take care of your body, your mind, or your spirit, do that on Thursday. Then you are going to be the strong being that is going to be capable of channeling the necessary information and energy for whatever it is that you want to manifest next. All right. Now, as an external person, because we're just pulling 1 card per day and they can have multiple meanings, this could also be someone that's needing more than you can give. So it could be a person in your life that you are like a family member or a partner that you're connected to, and they need more than you can provide. So you're going to have to put up a limit or ask for some help. It can also be a boss or a friend that tends to kind of helicopter in and get into your headspace a little bit, make you doubt yourself, and also they're second guessing your capacity to get stuff done. So with them, you want to kindly tell them to dial it back a bit and give you space and allow you to finish, and assume the best unless told otherwise. So you're going to emanate strength, and you're also going to heal yourself a little bit. Friday's good. Friday's great. So you start off the week strong. You have some energy in the middle that allows for some balancing, and then you get back into your I like that we have court cards all around the sort of like bookends of this. So come the end of the week, we have the Queen of Cups, which is really good for love, for creativity, for having fun. It's a TGIF card if I've ever seen one, because you want to have that sort of open heart as the weekend is coming in here. We also see the intuition caption on this as well. So, like the ancient Egyptians, trust where the heart is taking you. The heart knows sometimes more than the head. So you may be just feeling an inclination to explore anything, whatever it is, whether it's an activity, reading a book, hanging out with somebody, doing or not doing something, the heart knows. This is a very, very, very great day, though, for you to hang out with friends, to have a first date, to spend time with your partner. People energy is very, very strong come Friday. So do yourself a favor, especially since we saw the Strength card one day previous, reversed, and do something that makes you happy, because that's going to also make you strong. Okay? So everything's manageable this week so far, Wednesday being the trickiest day of everything. Let's now go into next weekend. I'll just shift the cards up a little bit so we can see these better. All right, so we have the Prince of Cups coming through on Saturday. These are actually partner cards, so there may be for some of you a little bit of spillover in between the 2 days. So you might be hanging out twice with someone. You may be taking a trip, and there could also be like a sleepover. There's something where the energy spills from one day to the next, which is kind of cool. So I could see something developing a little bit there if you're looking to deepen a relationship or spend time with someone that you love. Now, taking it out of the realm of just relationship energy, you do need a little bit of space. This is the second or third time this week where your energy has been interrupted. And if we look at this, I love how he's just tuning in. So yoga, meditation, exercise, getting out and taking a walk, anything that you want to do to connect with your higher self, with your heart, with your inner self. This is the important thing as we're looking at this. So the caption on this one is introspection. And so with giving so much over the course of the week, and it looks like you are going to be doing a lot this week, do something now for inner happiness and inner tranquility. Some of that may be hanging out with some friends and everything, but I do think there's important time that you need just to reflect. And we literally see a reflection on this one. So introspection and reflection, super important. This is a really beautiful deck. I'm glad I'm using it. I haven't used it for a while. My move has kind of forced me to look at all of my decks one more time, and I'm still waiting to receive some. So anyway, thanks for your patience. All right, so I like Saturday a lot, but take some time for yourself. Take a nap even, whatever you need to do, it's important. Moving on to next Sunday. So I told you that the 5 and the 7, they're typically cousins, siblings, twins, whatever you want to say. They're not quite twins, but they would be fraternal. But they always show up together in a spread, usually. When I pull, I found that these two are there. The other sibling cards that I see are like the Two of Wands and the High Priestess. So I see certain energies that are magnet kind of energies, and they tend to attract each other. So this is going to be an inner voice sort of thing that's happening on a week from today on Sunday. So we see the caption on this one as defeat. The 5 of Swords can happen not just when someone else is not listening, but when you're not listening, or when you're trying to have an argument with your inner self. So you could be knowing that you want to do something, knowing that it's time to do something, and then there's a part of you that starts to try to talk yourself out of it. Or you're trying to talk yourself into doing something you know you shouldn't do, whatever it is. Don't have that conversation. Instead, listen to what you know. Trust the knowing. Don't argue. Don't let the angel and the devil on your shoulders sort of have this whispering contest in your ears. You know what to do. Tune straight in and tell them to go away. And that's the main energy that I get next Sunday, is that you could just be having that sort of inner conversation, and it's getting you off of your powerful sort of trajectory that you're otherwise on. If there is anyone in your life and they're connected to the Five of Swords, they don't take accountability. They may have a hard time listening. They oftentimes just like to get under your skin. It's a very difficult conversation to have if there's someone that is in that energy, and you definitely know it. So step away from that, because we do see this being reversed. So you're going to understand that it doesn't have to do with you. This is something that's going on in their energy, in their mind. Okay? So again, if we're just looking at all of the cards, picking a couple of high points, today's a great day. We've got the King of Swords. I think your highest points are today, Sunday, Monday, and Friday. And then when we look at the middle of the week, the challenges in the middle of the week are trusting yourself, having the privacy that you need, and then also maybe making sure that other people have done their research. There could also be just honesty with self, someone else being honest with you, and then also self-care. Those are the things in the midweek that take you away from this otherwise sort of powerful triad that we see here with the Knight, the King, and the Queen, okay? And then when we get to next weekend, it's pretty good overall, just a little bit more self-care and reflection coming in, and then also not talking yourself into doing something that you don't want to do, not letting someone else do the same. That's the main way I'm reading that card, but there could be a tricky person in your life as well. This is why you need reflection, so that when you see them, you're like, that's them, that's not me. You need to know who you are and what you stand for, like I said earlier, and then other people can't affect you as much. Okay, so let's rearrange the cards here. If you just joined, perfect timing here. We're going to be looking at blessings and blocks next. Anything that you missed here will be available on replay later. Okay, so let's choose a different deck for the blessings and the blocks. Let's see what is calling to me. Maybe Tarot of St. Croix looks good. Okay. So blessings and blocks, just like they sound, these are going to be things to embrace, things to avoid, or things to transmute. Blessing, block. Okay. Again with the Seven of Swords, so it's definitely something to look for. This is why I read with multiple decks. If we get the same card multiple times, it really is calling to attention, something that we need to focus on. So blessings and blocks, starting first with the blessing. Three of Wands, reversed. It's happening a lot faster than you realize. In fact, some of you may be playing catch up. Three of Wands is great because all you have to do is sometimes shift your perspective, or like we see in this card, kind of travel, like meet the person halfway. That's what's missing. I would say 9 times out of 10 in a lot of these Three of Wands cards, we see someone too distant from the shore, from the ships coming in. And so the message I would say here is, if you're willing and ready and able to go a little bit further, to meet someone, to even have a little bit of compromise in helping someone get there, then things can happen even faster. So the blessing is they're happening. The blessing in disguise is they're happening so fast that there's a little bit of catch up that you're going to have to do, but you're completely capable of that, and it's going to be fine. And that's a good problem to have if things just require a little bit of organization and maybe asking for some help. I like that. That's a good thing. All right, the block this week, not a surprise here because it's been coming through. Every time, though, the 5 and the 7 are reversed. So we have the 7 of Swords in reverse. And as you can see with the 7 of Swords, it's like, it's a feudal sort of thing. There's swords everywhere. He's trying to kind of fight them. It's kind of not necessarily a battle that's worth fighting. What I would say with the 7 of Swords, here's the important thing. If there's a person in your life and they're doing something just that is beyond a shadow of a doubt not correct, it's wrong, you should call them out on that. You should say, this is unacceptable, or I don't stand for this, or a simple no, and then disengage. Because you don't want to be associated with that, and you want to be on record for disagreeing with that. And you want to let them know that this is where the line is, and they crossed it. So the boundaries are important, and you need to stand firm in that. That's one thing that is important with the 7 of Swords. But trying to convince someone that they're right, or trying to necessarily have them change or change it may or it may not be within your power to do so. You're going to have to kind of do some soul searching and see if it's worth it. Because the 7 of Swords in reverse can also just be cutting your losses and moving on. And sometimes that's the most powerful thing to do because it allows you to put your time and energy into things that are truly receptive. Okay? So once you decide to just let go of that energy, again, you can really focus on manifestation. And not just manifestation, but like the synchronicities here, doing something with the energy of what you've been creating. Okay? All right. Let's shift and take a look now at, I believe we're on viewers and readers' choice, but let me double check here. Oh no, we're going to do the elemental forecast. Perfect. All right, so let's shop around and see which deck that I'm going to use for the elemental one. I think I'm going to use Sun and Moon for this one, just because I'm called to. All right. So elemental forecast, we're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water, one card for each, and I will break down all the different signs within those 4 elements. All right, let's go ahead and pull the cards. Sun, sorry, the sun coming through for fire, which is fantastic. Earth. Air, and water. All right, let's break down these messages. Beginning with fire, and we got fire for fire, which is great. So this is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the Sun card, and the Sun is in reverse. The first thing with this is to have a sense of humor. The Sun can be ego. Sometimes we can let our ego get in the way of just having a good time. We actually see the Lovers on this Sun card, and that is something that different decks decide to do, like Morgan Greer does it. There's a few other decks that you will see 2 people having a great time because when you are truly in your sort of power and light and energy, it's a very attractive force. And I've talked about the sun itself being like the ultimate magnet in our solar system. It brings everything together. So if you can have a laugh, if you can have a good time, and if you can truly just shine and be yourself, then you're going to pull people into your life. Friends, business people, opportunities are going to abound in different ways, shapes, and forms. But yeah, love, if you're looking for love. But one of the things that's necessary is not to mute your shine, not to be so serious that you can't have a laugh here and there, and also just to make sure that you're paying attention to others' needs. There could be someone in your life that needs a lot. This can be a child. This is also the inner child card. So it can be love, it can be the inner child, and it can be ego. Now with the card in reverse, there could be someone in your life that's embodying all of these. So there's a lot of energy there. And it could just also be about you needing to kind of make sure that you have your space. So asking for what it is that you need, having fun, and making sure that you're being yourself. All of these things are important. But if there's anyone in your life that constantly needs, this is going to be a place where, again, limits are going to be important. But this is such a powerful card for the week ahead. I feel like you can really make anything happen that you want to make happen within reason. The Sun card is one of the best major arcana cards to pull, okay? Just make sure that you have, I keep getting like a laugh or some fun or something to kind of break the ice, and that's what's going to be important, okay? Moving now from fire to earth, we're going to look at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You are starting to make some decisions. So the Seven of Cups in reverse actually is the reverse of brainstorming and putting yourself out there. It's saying, I'm going to narrow down the field a little bit. This deck is fun because there's a lot of love in this particular deck. So this Seven of Cups is saying that partnership could help you in that sort of overall goal of getting something clearer. So it could be a mentor, teacher, a friend. You could also just be hiring someone like an editor or a project manager to kind of help you stay accountable and get something completed. So I like the partnership energy. I like talking it out with someone else. It feels like you're going to land on a decision. I love that this is a 7 by the end of the next 7 days. We do see the word debauch, like debauchery, having a good time. So the card in reverse is going to encourage you to pull back a little bit from excess. And that also includes excess research, excess work, any sort of excess, everything in moderation. And the whole reason the Seven of Cups is reversed is to kind of like let go of some stuff. We're emptying out some of those cups. So that's your goal this week, and I think you can do it. And it could be beneficial to be with someone partnered in a business capacity, especially if you're trying to plan or create or co-create. So good week for partnership, good week for getting goals ironed out and written down. It looks like you're going to have a great week ahead, okay? Just avoid going too far in any direction. Give yourself a rest. Moderation is your sort of secret weapon, okay? Moving from our earth signs to air, we're going to look now at Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You've got a pretty great week ahead for you. 9 of Pentacles. Many of you are kind of in your own world. The 9 of Pentacles is one of the most independent cards that I could pull. The reversal of this card, much like the Hermit in reverse, is saying don't be afraid to partner up with someone, to ask for some help. Don't be afraid to tap into your resources and invest in something that you want as well, especially if you've achieved the 9 of Pentacles. If you're struggling, the 9 of Pentacles reverse is saying there are available resources ready for you to ask or tap into, but it does require communication. So you should be ending the week on a better resource foot than you were starting it off. And the other thing that I see with this, it always reminds us of the importance of the long haul. What are you trying to do? The long distance. 9 of Pentacles doesn't happen overnight. So take your time. This is part of the fun of this, is planting something and watching it grow in your life. And so if you've built a business from the ground up, or if you've been in a relationship for a long time and you see the fruits of that, whatever it is that you're investing in, you're starting to see the growth, and that kind of like makes you happy. So get some joy out of what you've done so far, not what you're still waiting to see happen, and celebrate that. And again, there's more to be tapped into. So I feel like it's a good time to research. If you're looking to go to school, you might find, some sort of a financial aid that you didn't know about. If you're looking to buy a house, there could be an opportunity for a loan or lower financing. There's something here where you can tap into the resources available to you and do more and have more in the long run. And who doesn't want that? But it's a good card for money, for career, and for personal development and growth, which, again, who could ask for anything more? All right, moving from Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, our air signs, to water. We're going to look now at Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And you have the Hierophant, which was a card that I believe I pulled for today. And the Hierophant was reversed when I was reading for the daily read. But for you, as we look across the week, we have the Hierophant upright. The Hierophant is a great card for creating structure. It's a good card for getting people to respect and work with you. It's a leadership card, above all else. In many decks, it's the High Priest, which means it's connected to both the Emperor and Empress, and also the High Priestess and the Magician. It has all of that put together. So the most important thing that I would say with this card is to remember where it came from. Being humble is a very attractive trait. So you may have accomplished all the power that's part of the Hierophant, but good leaders are also really kind and giving, and they don't take themselves too seriously. They take their job seriously, but they realize that whether it's a title or fame or whatever, it comes and goes. So in this moment in time, be your most powerful. Trust in that power, but you don't have to show it. You don't have to flex it. In fact, when you don't, people respect you more. So that's kind of cool here. This is also a card of faith and introspection and spiritual development, just as much as the High Priestess is. So you may be finding ways to kind of like see threads of the journey that you hadn't previously. It's very structured. So I feel like this is going to be a very productive week for you in structuring things and seeing connections that you didn't before. And it's bringing a lot of different energies together. So I'm happy for you, and that's a good energy. We also see him sitting cross-legged at the tree. By the way, I don't think I read that bullet on the slide, but that was one of the things that the Norns did. They would carve runes into the Yggdrasil, and they also fed it from the river nearby. They had to tend to the tree. So grounding is really, really important. Whatever you can do to stay grounded and tend to yourself is also important. And we had a lot of self-care messages when I was looking at the 7-day. For your signs here, this is also coming through. So if you're water, we're getting grounding energy, interestingly enough. So do something that brings you a sense of stability, okay? And those are the messages for the elements. Let's just quickly look at all of them together, I have to say they're all good, right? There's nothing here when I look at all 4 of these that is cause for concern. So it feels like it's going to be a good week overall. We see, coming out of your shell and partnering up. We have another energy here with partnering. Then we see resources opening up, and then we have grounding. So overall, I like what I see. Okay, let's go into the next portion here, which is going to be the viewers and readers' choices. Let's keep all the cards on the table so we can decide what we want to talk about, and then we'll go from there. And then we're very close to the special topic after that. I believe that's the next piece. All right, so let me just take me off so we can see all the cards. Okay, so here's everything in front of us. Let's see what makes sense to focus on. All right, let me pull up the poll here. Because we got the 7 of Swords a couple of times, I think it would be super important to understand basically how to overcome this. So we're going to do 7 of Swords, and because it's all about it can be deception, dealing with people that kind of emanate that energy. So dealing with difficult people. That's what it's going to be, dealing with difficult people. Okay. I really love the resource energy that we saw here. And, we got a little bit of this here too with the 3 of Wands. So how to tap into what's available, And that's kind of like with resources. And then let's see here. Self-care was another important thing here. So self-care, what to focus on. Okay, I feel like those are plenty of choices for you. Let me see what I'm drawn to do. Sometimes I just do a wild card as well, and I think I'm drawn to do a wild card for today. Let me choose a different deck for this. Let's see, maybe Modern Witch for this. Okay, so let's take a look at a wild card. What is it that we haven't focused on that we need to focus on? That's going to be the reader's choice. All right, so the wild card this week is a really good one, actually. It's the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles did come through in the reverse state. So for many of you, this is a focus on house, home, and a core relationship in your life. So this could be your partner, this could be you, this can be the house and home. Domestic matters are a big part of this, not just money. So I think one thing to focus on is how are you feeling? What are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to invest in your future? Not just in giving to everybody else in your life, but what are you doing to make sure that you're happy, that you're healthy, and that you're set up for success? When we're a kid, hopefully, ostensibly, our parents are there to do that. When as we grow up, especially if you are single and happy even, we don't always have someone there to keep us accountable for self-care. Today, the cards are doing that for you, and I'm doing that for you. So make sure that you are okay and do whatever you need to do to be okay. There could be someone in your life that is just really needing a lot. This can be an elder parent, this can be a child, this can be your boss. So again, putting a line in the sand and making sure that you know what your limits are. That's a consistent theme. And gosh, I just keep looking at the bull. There's a lot of Taurus or Tauran energy here. So for those of you that have Taurus as a placement, there could be, you want to focus a little bit on that energy and make sure that you're taking care of it, whether it's in your sun, rising, or moon. And also just really kind of like, what I like about being bullish on the future is looking at what's possible. And so the bull is a very strong energy. I have it in my moon, actually. So when I get really set on something, it happens because emotionally that bull takes over. And my Capricorn ascendant and Libra sun try to keep it in, and they do a good job of keeping it together. But that passion is important. So speaking from experience, because I work with that, if you can kind of really find your passion and let it go, it's going to take you places you wouldn't imagine. So be bullish on your future. Okay? Let's go ahead now and focus on whatever you've chosen for me. So let's take a look at the poll here. All right. It looks like we are going to look at difficult people, but we have a tie. So whenever I have one within a point, which we have, we're going to read two. So you guys have been having me read a lot of ties lately. So we're going to start off with dealing with difficult people. Let's take a look at that. All right. So dealing with difficult people, let me go ahead and see what's going on. All right, so this is specifically 7 and a little bit of the 5 of Swords. How to deal with someone that's driving you crazy, that is pushing your buttons, that is just difficult. All right, 5 of Wands, interesting card for this. All right, so the 5 of Wands in reverse is reminding you that it is not about competition. It's not about also trying to prove right or wrong. It is about collaboration. Cooperation and collaboration. The interesting thing with this is the card is also asking you to look at how much work this is taking. And I mean this in the best and most sort of like just honest way of saying it. Sometimes it's not worth the work or the investment. So if there's a difficult person and they are not your boss or your partner or your child or someone in your life that you are bound to work with because that's what your commitment is, then this card is saying, focus instead on the other core relationships that will benefit from your time and energy. And even if it is one of those core relationships, again, time, boundaries, and then encouraging that person to sort of sort it out for themselves, basically, because I feel like some of these energies might be codependent. So you can work less hard. You can disengage a little bit and focus more on people that can cooperate and lift you up instead. And that's the advice on that one. It's also saying get back to work. So if this person's distracting you, the best way, or has a lack of faith in you, prove them wrong. This is actually a good card. 5 of Wands is getting to work. So channel your energy into something productive, ultimately, and disengage with the person. If you have the luxury of doing so, and if you don't, still get back to work and put some limits there or delegate. They need to be doing 50-50 and they're not, okay? So that is my advice. And at the end of the day, for those of you that have kind of acknowledged that it's someone that you can't get away from, like a boss or something like that, it is it's sort of like a call to action for you to look and see what else is out there. Again, speaking from experience here, I was pushing so hard at the place that I used to live to get things fixed, to make things happen, and to, it was just a very difficult uphill battle. The minute I gave up and looked somewhere else, the better my life got. But I stuck it out probably for a year to a year and a half longer than I should have. So you don't need to do that just because we all kind of get afraid of change for whatever reason. Don't be afraid of change. It's often better, and it's less work can be good. It gives you energy to do new things. That's why I'm able to do new videos. It's quiet. I can sleep. I'm in sort of like inspired. So a change could do you good, to quote Sheryl Crow. All right, let's take a look now at the other thing that you chose for me. So how to tap into what's available. All right, this is like the hidden resources that I was seeing here for some signs, but also the fact that like things could be happening a lot faster. So let's take a look. So what is going on here? How can we tap into hidden resources? The Sun coming through yet again. Okay, so we got the Sun card here, and this is saying you have the capacity to win people over. This is a charming card because what the Sun can represent, it can be celebrity, it can be personality, it can be your smile, it can be just your energy, your way of communicating. Turn on your charm and you can get things done. And it's also like that, I can't remember the exact phrase, but you can, attract more bees with honey than vinegar or something like that. So the sweeter you are and the kinder you are and the softer your energy is, the more engaging it is, particularly if you are asking for more time, for more resources, for assistance. If you're trying to get someone to see something from a different perspective, be charming. You'll be surprised at how much that's going to do in your favor, in your benefit. Okay? Good. Fantastic. All right, we're getting ready now for the special topic. And let's just make sure that we've covered everything. Yes, we have. Special topic indeed. So I think today, again, I'm inspired to use Wildwood for today's reading because it had the loom, and I was dreaming of the loom last night. So whether or not the card comes, I just wanted to use that deck today because it was very connected to dreams. So today I just kind of chose the decks. It helps with the pacing too. Sometimes we vote, sometimes I know exactly what I want to choose as a reader, so thank you for understanding. All right, give me a second. I'm going to go find that deck. Hopefully I think it's one of the ones that I chose up at the top here, and then we'll get started. Let's see. We have it right here. I always like to keep like a top 15 or top 20 decks in cases available, and this is one of those because I just love the imagery in it. So, okay, let's get started, folks. So we are now looking at the special topic, which is writing a new chapter, stop repeating history. So if you're sick of the sort of status quo, the same old, we're going to shake it up today. We're going to look at where the stagnation exists, where the opportunities also exist. So this portion can go even beyond the week. So if you're ever in a point in your life where you're like, I want to turn a new page, write a new chapter, you can always come back and look at this part of the reading. It has a timeless quality to it, even though we are looking at it in real time and focusing on the next week to month ahead. I don't always state that, but that's definitely a part of this. One of the reasons I love this deck is because it's so infused with nature. I like this. I like the wild unknown quite a bit. Because for those of you that follow my channel a lot, you know that I love totems, and so this is an interesting kind of totem-centric deck. It's refreshing not to see people sometimes in the cards, just like nature. And I actually get a lot more out of the court cards in this deck than I do out of like Rider-Waite-Smith. So if you've never purchased the deck before, this is a great one. I would say it's only for intermediate or advanced. If you're looking for a good starter deck, I have it right here by this. This is my travel size version, and I keep it on the table. The Radiant Rider-Waite is one of the first 3 decks that I purchased, and highly recommend that. And then once you kind of get more attuned to the cards, this is a really cool one. But it's so abstract that if you don't know what you're reading, then it's confusing. Yeah, like when you look at the deck, it's just like going out into the forest, right? So if you are someone who's naturally attuned to nature, this is a beautiful deck. As you can see, I love all types of nature. In some of my past life flashbacks, one of them was a druid. So I think that's probably why. I saw myself in Egypt. I was a high priest. I saw myself as a druid. I worked with astrology before in Etruria. I was a card reader in Paris. Like I saw a bunch of flashbacks. They were all with spirit, but I did have one where I was working with like nature, druid. Okay. Let's begin. We're going to start with your catalyst. The catalyst is a way for you to create action and to stay on track. We have a reverse card, which interestingly enough looks upright. So it's the river. And when I was reading for some of the cards during the week, I think it was on next Saturday, we got that Prince of Cups card where we saw the reflection. So there's power in the reflection. What you may realize is you think you're going in the wrong direction, but you're not. Because what does a river do? It's basically flowing. It's sometimes even carving something into the land. Sometimes you think, I'm taking the wrong turn, or why is this going here? I wanted it to go here. You can't control a river. We try, we make dams and things like that, but ultimately Mother Nature is going to win out when it comes to massive rivers. And nature finds a way, to quote Jurassic Park. So there's a way and there's a reason and there's a rhyme for everything. And if you take a moment to just tune in, you're going to see the pattern. And that's all that needs to be revealed is the pattern. Okay? So you may have been going counter to the pattern, or you may have been trying to use someone else's template in your life. And the river's coming through to say, nope, we're pushing through that, and I'm going to take you over here. So the sooner you can kind of go with your flow, your energetic flow, the better. If you're trying to swim upstream, unless you're salmon, it's not going to work. So try to go with that energetic flow and allow yourself to be the magician, channeling. Okay? Let's look at your center card. We have the Ace of Cups. Couldn't ask for a better card at the center. Let's look at it a little closer here. So it says the waters of life, a lot of energy of things flowing here. Even when I was reading the Norns, they were, again, taking water to the tree. So water's been throughout our reading today. So with the card in reverse, some of you have been prioritizing others' happiness, others' success, et cetera, et cetera. And this is basically a chance for you to prioritize yourself and also to tune into what makes you happy. Once we grow up, I don't know why, but we're not given as much encouragement or permission to follow our heart. We have to be an adult. We have to do what's expected. We have to do what other people want us to do. A big part of it is. So I want you to reconnect with the inner child and follow your heart, follow your dreams, and open up a little bit. And some of you have just decided to choose happiness, because that's why this is at the heart of the spread, basically, right? So you're saying, I choose to be happy. I'm not going to exist in this energy of discontent anymore. I'm ready to manifest something better. So I support that. All right, let's see what's crossing and bringing energy into this. So it's interesting that we have a 9 of Swords on top of this. There's an inner struggle going on between this desire to want to be happy, but then also the fear of what that might look like. Can I be? Am I deserving of it? Will it happen? How will it happen? Am I still desirable? All the things that can kind of go through our head. So we see someone here, and the word actually says dedication on this card. So she's almost gathering up all of these old fears, and she's saying, you've served me well, but I'm not beholden to you. And that's the interesting thing with fear. It has a time, it has a place. It's part of our most primitive brain, and it came in to help us, like fight or flight. We had to take care of ourselves. Something scary is there, run, because it'll help you live. But as an evolved being, the 9 of Swords is coming through to say, fear serves a certain space in our lives. It helps us wake up. It helps us take care of something. It helps us survive. But it cannot be a constant state of being. And so basically, so I'm just tying my shoelaces so I don't trip when I get up. So basically, it's saying here that you're okay, and if there is any sort of fear in your life, what I typically do is just find like education. Education is a great way to empower yourself and get out of the fear. So if you're afraid something will happen, talk to someone. If you are worried about, loss or this or that, then you get insurance. You basically create a net so that you're not worried about all these little things. But if you're afraid and worried, like, do I deserve to be happy? Yes, you do. Can I be happy? Yes, you can. And this is your time. And just the message that I get when I look at that particular illustration, it's like you're talking to your fears. You say, thank you. You've served your time and purpose, and you've served them well, but I no longer need you. You're dismissed, basically. Okay? All right. Let's look at your deep past. We have the 10 of Swords, and it is in reverse. It's so interesting how this particular person took the negative energy and they actually put some positive words on the cards. I like it, but this is part of the reason that this is an advanced deck. Wands in this particular deck are the bows and swords are the arrows. So we have the 10 of swords, again, it was reversed. And what we see with this is a redirection. And you might have had instruction that was not correct in the past. So this is a chance for you to tune in and find the teacher, the guru, the leader, or trust yourself on this if you want to, that's going to point you in the right direction. So I basically see this moment in time as redirection. And you can, there comes a time and a place where someone that you thought was able to show you everything, you realize there's a lot more, or I need to go somewhere else. So I think this is an awakening and an understanding that you want to find different insights, welcoming in different insights, including your own. The 10 of Swords is also a card that comes through when we are sometimes dealing with healing, letting go of pain in the past, and it usually is a full stop. So it feels to me like you've had a moment where everything that you needed to experience, you've experienced, and it can only go up from here. So I like that. Any pain in the past still provided context, still provided strength. And have you ever noticed how people who have been through challenges tend to be kinder, stronger, more capable? It's not the only way to gain that wisdom, but pain can be a good teacher. And so see it as a teacher, see fear as a helper, and then let them both go, because there are better teachers and helpers out there. They're lower frequencies. All right, here's the first card that we're looking at that's more opportunity. This is all like the past, and some of this is in the present here, but now we're focusing on what's availing itself to you. So we have partnership. This has been coming through again and again and again in this reading. 2 of Cups. The interesting thing with this, though, is do you feel it? Do you feel the mutual attraction? Do you feel the connection? Because if you don't, then don't do it, obviously, right? I had an interesting experience where my guides were showing me how to clear energy with someone, and this was before I read cards, and it was like 2 cups, and I had to drink of my essence until it was clear, and the other person had to do the same, but we had to intertwine our our arms, and kept drinking of our own energy until it was crystal clear. Not theirs, but ours. And we kept until the water flowed clear. So once we were filled up like an Ace of Cups, and once our energy was pure, then you could look at the partner and decide, do I stay or do I go in a different direction? So one of the things that you want to do in this moment, hey Paula, you want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Let's say hi. Yes. Speaking of 2 of Cups, with his bedhead right now, Apollo's coming in to help us learn with this. So the 2 of Cups is about mutual attraction, sniffing it out, making sure that it makes sense, but understanding that until you are completely whole and full, you can't make someone else's life complete, and they can't make your life complete. Look at him, he's so cute. All right, I'm going to let him go. But he popped over to say hi to everybody. Since we didn't get a little bit of Apollo love at the beginning, you get it now. He's just, we'll see. If he keeps wandering about, we'll give him a snack later. Okay, so the 2 of Cups, basically, you have to feel it. It has to be mutual, and you are not someone else's missing piece. You are not trying to fill a void within them, and vice versa. So be full. Be an Ace of Cups. Be complete. And that completion will then bring in someone that can be a true partner and not a teacher. And I think that's the first opportunity in not repeating history. This is not a constant state of being. Deep past, the 10 of Swords reverse, saying, I'm over that now. I'm not a failure. Even if my father, teacher, parent, society told me I failed, they were wrong. I've told you of my story where I had a teacher that said I wouldn't go through school. I'd be lucky to make it through high school. What a crazy teacher. What a bad thing to say. What a weird projection to put out there. Thank God my parents didn't listen. And I could care less at the time. So couldn't care less, I should say. So thank God for that. So rejection and negativity in the universe, again, it's all about redirection, finding something better. So don't let that imprint upon you. I didn't. All right, looking at your crowning card here, we have the 4 of Pentacles, protection. So this is a foundational card, and one of my favorite illustrations for the 4 of Pentacles. So beginnings are, I actually talked about this in one of the daily card pulls for this week, but beginnings are always very tentative times. We want to protect something, a dream or an idea when we're doing something. And we see this little scared deer or fawn sitting there saying, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can do this. Maybe this is it. Again, fear is playing a common role today, and it keeps coming back. We can't let fear keep us in our house, in our energy forever and ever and ever, right? So in the Thoth deck, it's more of a foundational card. So you are just at the tip of the iceberg. There's much more depth. There's much more capacity. If we're looking at a mountain, you just started. There's so much more to see. There's so much more to explore. So this is not the end. It's a beginning. And one thing that you can also do is to advocate for more, ask for more. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse is operating at a deficit. Usually, and even if you are someone who is trying to do something not for profit or to kind of help the world at large, the only time that this would be good, and even then it would not be good, is philanthropy. You want to be more at the 5 or 6 of Pentacles for philanthropy, because you need more than enough for yourself, just so that you're making sure you're taking care of yourself too. 6 is better for philanthropy until you pass on, and then you can give it all away in your trust. But yeah, 4 of Pentacles is you're not breaking even. You're stretched too thin, and you're giving away too much, and you're tired. So energetically, many of you are at a place where you can ask for more, or you can push back on how much is being requested of you. And that is going to help you turn a new corner and to write a new story, write a new chapter, right? Okay. Let's take a look now. And we have the lovely Page of Swords coming through here. And so we have a little wren, little bird on this one. Pages are really valuable in the court cards because they are the communicators. They are the recipients, senders and receivers. They're like the satellite dishes. So sometimes I see like an Ace of Cups being like that, but definitely the pages. They're the ones that are out there on the front lines getting stuff done. So if you want to get it done, you need to do it yourself. You need to go out there and actively shop around whatever it is you want to do. When I first came to California, this is back in 2000, I was looking for some jobs, and I was super bold. So some places I would just go straight to the reception and ask if I could talk to someone in HR or if there was anyone available to talk. I actually landed interviews that way. I don't think you could do that nowadays, but I landed some jobs just by like stepping in like cold. It wasn't even like a cold application. I had my portfolio resume, and I'm like, I'm really interested in a job, and I've done the research on the company, blah, 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 and I actually landed some interviews. So you can be super bold like that. I think that was just my naivete as a young person, but it did get me in the door at a few places, and it did help me get a job at one place actually, freelance. So you never know what can happen, and I actually have had a lot of success with cold applications. So one of my best jobs, a couple years later, when I was working for a studio, I just happened to, it was around New Year's, I wasn't happy with where I was living and what was going on, and I thought, I need to get out of this, I need to move on, and I just sent a resume on New Year's Eve, and about 7 days later, I got a call, and they asked me if I could come like the next Friday, and then that Friday they were like, can you come in 2 weeks and start? Like, it happened really, really fast. I just sent an email saying, I have this skill set. I like what you guys do. I can see some areas where you're probably needing to grow. Are you looking for this job? And they said, oh my God, we haven't even advertised it, but yeah, we're looking for this. So you never know. So the page is bold sometimes, and it just opens doors. You know, we want to not break any rules or policies. So an email is better, obviously. But you know, if you can pick up the phone and call and inquire about something, do it. And if you can talk to someone or have them introduce you to something, the page can be bolder than you think. It's not just an errand person. It's someone who walks the street and opens up doors, literally, if it has to. So find your bold inner page and see if you can do that. And we have swords here. So rewrite your goals, your resume, and also keep it brief. Hey buddy, what's going on there? Yes, I know. have to always give a little love to Apollo when he's doing that. Okay, let's go ahead and focus on the next piece of this, which is how you're showing up and where your potential energy is. So we have the Shaman card here, and the Shaman is the Magician. A little bit more quiet energy to this card, and I like that he has sort of like the bear spirit on top of him. So let's pull this card in the reverse state. And the Shaman is basically saying, as long as I focus, as long as I believe in myself and believe in what's possible, I can do this. I don't want to overcommit, and I don't want to underestimate or undervalue myself. And these are sort of like the key tenets of that, okay? And Apollo, what he's doing too is a part of that, which is I'm going to dig in and make this happen. Okay, so he's even teaching us a little lesson in the background. So if you can focus and really dig in and focus on one thing, if possible, then the Magician becomes even more powerful than you might imagine. The bear spirit is kind of interesting because I talked about the bull and the bear when we're looking at the sort of like financial markets. The bear tends to pull back a little bit and be a little bit more conservative. So the one thing that I would say with this is when it comes to believing in yourself and believing in your magic, I think it's super important for you to not hold back. And the card is reversed. So let that bearish spirit go. Focus more on the bull energy that we've been seeing so much of and embrace the possibility. I'm going to give him a little snack so he settles down, and then we're going to continue looking at the cards. So let's give him a treat. Want a treat, buddy? All right. Apollo's got a little love, and he'll be all right now. Okay. So focusing now on what's going on in the environment. We have the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is one of the best cards you could have anywhere in the spread because it's the ultimate boss card. And the interesting thing with this is, for some of you, there's way too many chiefs. There's way too many bosses around you. And so if you're in a current working environment, there's a management heavy sort of position, or you could just have a team where everyone wants to be in charge. So we see the adder here, which is a snake, but it's like kind of like a snake pit. We want to stay away from that. The one on the top is what you want to aim to be. Leading the charge, getting above that sort of energy of competition, and again, sort of like setting a better example, if possible. And if there's a place where you may actually be, your upward mobility may be limited because there's too much competition. So I see a lot of potential for you, but I think that environmentally speaking, there's so many strong personalities that some of you professionally could be having a little bit of a challenge because of that. And then in a group of friends or in a family, there's a lot of voices. There's a lot of people that have that same sort of strong energy. So don't let them get in the way of you continuing to be strong. And if you need to find places on your own to sort of grow that, I think that's going to be really important, okay? But yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. And that's the biggest challenge right now. So you are the boss, though, of your own life anyway. So if you can put down any sort of boundaries and say, no, this isn't going to work, or give me my space, again, that's going to be super important. Okay, now let's look at where your hopes, fears, and opportunities take you. Now we have the Queen of Wands, so there's some partnership energy. We're going to look at love here in a second, but listening, it's hard to do, isn't it? Normally I would get that with like a page or a Knight of Swords, but this Queen of Wands is saying, listen to yourself, listen to others, keep kind of like tapped into the environment because you might find some inspiration in what's going on here. Don't second guess yourself and avoid being so bossy because that's what might happen here. You think, okay, there's so many people that are trying to do this. Well, I'm just going to try to speak louder, or I'm going to be so bossy that I'm the one that's seen as powerful. That may not be the best method. I think that for some of you, finding your own space, finding a different energy to engage with, it feels like you're being asked to move on. And if we look at the topic for today, I'm pointing to my monitor on the side, but it is writing a new chapter. So for some of you, that new chapter is to disengage with this group of people, whether it's someone that you're hanging out with or a job and find something different. We have a very entrepreneurial card in the outcome, and it's the Seer, which is the High Priestess. You have 2 partner cards. So we have the Magician or the Shaman and the Seer. So Shaman and Seer, Magician and High Priestess, and then we have the King and Queen of Wands. Interesting sort of dynamic going on. You could find yourself in the middle of a so there could be like 2 groups of people, there could be 2 couples, there could be, it's 2 very sort of distinct groupings of energy. The end one is saying, I can make something good of this, or I can move on. I can find something different if this is too cliquish for me. But to end with a manifestation card can only be positive. This reminds me of like Galadriel looking in her little, wasn't a pond, but it was her mirror, basically. So what is it that you want? This is going really back to that final slide that I had written. So let me just pull it up for a second, because I feel like everything we need is on this one, and I talked about it earlier. So all of this stuff, creating a plan, knowing what you stand for, setting goals, thinking about the possibilities, and then this final piece here, which is you are a powerful being capable of manifesting your hopes and your dreams. You can do this. You're stronger than people have led you to believe. And why would they purposely or knowingly kind of hold you back? Because then they can stay in power, then you're going to stay near, and maybe they just lacked vision and imagination about what was possible. So I want you to see what others can't. That's what a seer does. Being a seer is sometimes a lonely sort of thing because people think you're crazy until things pan out. So the Hierophant energy and the seer, very similar sort of things today, which is you may see something before others. The seer just has to kind of like go with the flow and trust. So let's expand this forecast and get some clarity on how you can be the seer, how you can start that new chapter. And then I think that, normally I do a big idea, but after I go through these 3 cards, then I'll pull a past, present, future lesson, kind of tying it all back into the Norns and seeing how we can really help you with the new chapter and what the past, present, and future chapters look like. Okay? So expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I start off with health. I always like to remind people that as I look at health, I'm looking at options. You have free will. So I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm showing you what you can do. And if there's anything that's going on in your life where it's affecting your mental or physical health, you'll work with the appropriate professional for that. I'm just here to help you with the energy. Okay? So let's take a look at what's coming through here for your health card. You're going to be busy. We got the Bee Spirit. Sweet results await. I like that. So it's worth the work. It's worth the energy. And the bees come up a few times. It actually came up in one of the readings this week. I can't remember if it was Scorpio or Sagittarius, but I got the bee as well. So the bee is a very organized energy, very hierarchical. So there's, worker bees, drones, the queen, I'm probably leaving some other things out, but basically they all have duties, just like the ants, which are coming through as well. So the breakdown in the organization of your plans of what you're doing, it's going to be really, really important, okay? Looking at that, sorry, I'm getting distracted by some of the comments here. So the bee spirit is basically saying, focus on what's important. By the way, okay, I'm going to address the comments so I can focus. You have chapter headings and timestamps. So if you ever want to come back to the reading, just take a look at the timestamps. It's all there, okay? All right, so because I saw someone saying they needed to refer to it, so it's all there if you look at that. All right, thank you for the question, and now let me focus on what I'm talking about. So for the health card, with the bee spirit, I would say the important thing for you is to stay organized, and there's only room for one queen bee, so there could be an environment like we saw with all the snakes where it's difficult for you to be able to be free or to do what you want to do. There may be a challenge there then for you to find a place where you can spread your wings and be free, okay? This is a pollinator. Anything that you decide to put your time and energy into, you're going to see a direct return on that energy. So that's going to be very beneficial as well. Okay, let's look at specifically what's coming through for health with the bee. Taking a break, that's important. because again, I think of this like a nonstop sort of creature, just like a hummingbird. They don't really break much until evening. So taking more frequent breaks and pacing yourself, because bees don't have a long lifetime. They kind of burn themselves out. So we don't want to have that happen. All right, specific messages with respect to health and energy in the cards here. Okay, so focus, just like if I saw Seven of Cups in any state, but the Magician reverse, I would say, can sometimes be a lack of focus or being distracted. So concentration could be a little tricky. So limiting distractions so you can concentrate, I think that's going to be important. Let's see what else. Focusing on dealing with any chronic pain or fatigue. The Ten of Swords typically has to do with the back, but it can also be other parts of the body that are suffering with chronic pain or fatigue. So taking care of that. So again, that you can be the strongest possible vessel to channel all of this stuff. That's important. Let's see here. Emotional sensitivity. A lot of you are just really much more sensitive and open than you have been. So being kind with yourself. There are times where you just need a good cry or a good laugh or whatever, letting the emotions run through you. If you hold on to stress, it can affect things that you don't want it to affect, like blood pressure, blood sugar, et cetera, et cetera. So eating well, exercising well, taking good care of the heart. Again, I'm not a doctor, but the Four of Pentacles has to do with blockages around the heart center. And energetically speaking, when we kind of tighten all of that up, it's not good. So doing whatever you can to be kind to your heart. I'm not seeing anything that is like, except for the Ten of Swords, which can be acute and or chronic pain. But there's nothing, this is in the past. So that's, for some of you, you have it. The rest of you don't. The rest of this, I'm looking at things where it feels like it just might be concentration or focus that's off a little bit, and that's a lot more manageable. One last thing. It's kind of like a bee sting. Sometimes you have to do something important or pivotal, and it stings at the beginning, but then it fades. So if there's something that you need to do or say, and it's kind of like taking off a bandage, I get that little stinging sensation because we're looking at the bee, and that's okay. Get it over with and move on to the next thing. All right, let's focus on what's coming through for wealth. We have the fire ant. It's actually a powerful symbol. You don't want to mess with a fire ant because you have this entire army of fire ants that are going to come after you. So what I see with this is the ability to get the masses behind you. Definitely leadership energy is coming through. If you've never seen yourself as a leader before, you have this ability now to be in that position of leadership. There's also a warning here with both the bee and the fire ant. Leave well enough alone. So if it's not your fight to fight, don't fight that. If this group of people or whatever it is around you are not open to constructive feedback, walk away, because you don't want the hive and you don't want the colony after you. And these are definitely collective energies where you want to be on the side of this, or you want them to be following you. You don't want to kind of like shake the tree too much with that. Okay, let's focus on, well, actually one last thing that comes through, because I've read ants in general as a totem. They are very strong. They can lift several times their own weight. So this particular card can be emotional energy. The Ten of Swords can be feeling like I'm afraid of failing, or I'm tired of being unhappy, or whatever it is. There can be a lot of emotional stuff. If you let it go, or if you focus on something else, you have an inner strength you didn't know you had, is basically what the ant is telling you. You can take this and more, and you're going to come back stronger. So it's a very resilient energy. Ants don't do well alone. They don't live long alone. They have to find their way back to the colony. So moving now specifically into partnership energy, it's come through so many times. I do feel like something can get done better in the company of others. So whatever that partnership looks like for you, this is maybe the third time that I've pulled it. So partnership is essential to the next sort of like professional phase in your life. Okay. What else is coming through here for work? Let's see. So creativity, we got the Queen of Cups coming through like for Friday energy. So I feel like this is a really good day to tap into that and have other people tap into that as well. Let's see. Letting go of the fears, letting go of the getting burned out. Some of you are just burned out. So taking time off, protecting yourself and just taking some time off is going to be key. Everything is leading you towards leadership and towards growth and expansion. So if you failed in the past, that was the past. There's more love to come. This is just one chapter in your story. What do you want? I think that's the most important thing in work, in career, in life, going back into what I was talking about a little bit earlier. But what is it that you're trying to create? What is it that you see yourself doing? Everybody's going to be vibing off of that and trying to tap into that. So until you know, it's hard for people to know how to show up for you. Let's take a look at love and relationships. You're in great company. Well, here we go again with the partnership, right? For those of you in existing partnerships, it's just saying that you've done a good job. For those of you pulling in new people, it looks good. For those of you single and happy, partnership energy is still going to be a part of it. The interesting thing here is you still need your space, though. Pull back to propel forward. So if and when someone truly loves you, they're going to go the distance with you. You don't have to stay put for fear of losing someone. It feels like movement's a part of this journey for the two of you next. So it's moving on together, or somehow moving. So we see it going to the next level. So I guess if I could sum it up, I would call that next level. So you're seeing if the relationship goes to that next level. All right, focusing now on 3 different types of relationships. Those that are already in one, those that are seeking, those that are single and happy. If you're in a relationship right now, you may have come through a difficult period. The 10 of Swords doesn't always mean arguing with your partner. It could mean a very painful loss in your life, loss of a parent, loss of a loved one, maybe even a material loss that hits you hard. And there's worry that's associated, will this happen again? The partner's here to help you through it. And it's difficult sometimes when you're in the mix of all of this to think like, this is all I have, so is this all I can be? Or I lost all of this, how will I get it again? The only thing that I would say here when I was looking at finances too, we want to get you out of that. So asking for more and already assuming that you can and will exist in that energy of more is going to be important. So with the partnership, the same is true. Self-worth, net worth, closely tied. So really focus on feeling like you've done it before, you can do it again. And even if you've never done it before, you can do it. Your partner may be a little bit resistant in giving you what you need. So first of all, listen, see what's going on with them, but then speak up. So active listening, and then also just communicating. Desires, wants, and needs are going to be so important. So I think that's the key piece here is communication. With communication comes success. The chemistry's still there, but it's off a little bit. So it feels like, or the timing's off a little bit. So trying to find, I think making time on the calendar to be together, even if it's just hanging out, is going to be important. And then the natural sort of listening and bonding will happen there. But it feels like it's manageable. Honestly, the most difficult cards are in the past. Everything in the present and future is much, much better. But we have to deal with the past, and we have to deal with like the resources or confidence energy that I'm picking up on in order for everything to thrive. If you are single and looking, good time to be single and looking. You have so many options coming through. You've manifested at least 2. Manifestation. Because the Magician is connected to the King of Wands, and the High Priestess is connected to the Queen of Wands. So I see a partnership. I see a very compatible partnership. The person that you're pulling in believes in themselves just a smidge more, which is interesting. They listen to themselves a little bit more. So one thing that you can do is listen to yourself and make sure that you're paying attention, because we see the listening card to pick up on where that person is. They're there. They're just kind of waiting for you to wake up. And there is a third option coming in as well, but a lack of maturity with the third one. So I see 2 very good matches. I see one slightly younger, maybe more playful, maybe more talkative match, but I like who you're pulling in. I think you just need to trust yourself. So there's no lack of options, just maybe a lack of confidence. That's all that I'm seeing here. And maybe focusing a little bit more on taking care of finances in general is going to be good, because you want to clean that part of your life up before you engage in a relationship. If you're single and happy, good for you. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I actually just think that partnership's going to be really important in business. You may have 1 or 2 business partnerships on the horizon. when it comes to business and personal growth, again, everybody should be advocating for a little bit more because it feels like more can come. There's been a little bit of a limitation here in the past, and we don't necessarily need that anymore. Okay? And if you are single and happy, this message is especially for you. Love yourself. You're in great company. And you are great company for someone else when and if you decide to open up. And if you're single and looking, the same is true. You got to love yourself first and foremost, not in a egotistical way, but in an self-acceptance sort of way. All right, focusing now on your destiny card. Well, guess what? It's more partnership. For Scorpio this month, I think it was Scorpio, I pulled like every single Cups card imaginable and every partner card except maybe the Lovers. We're getting a very similar energy for this week ahead for you because let's just look in this spread alone. 2 of Cups, a company card here, a communal card here, and then we got partners that showed up in the spread. And then we have totems that are all about people. So guess what? People, partnerships, and groups are going to be very important in creating this next chapter in your life. You are not meant or needing to do this as a lone wolf. The more you can bring your message, your energy, your ideas to others, the more you can co-create with others, the more magical, impactful, and in the best sense of the word viral this will be, the more it's going to catch on. So yeah, the interesting thing, just tap that. The interesting thing with the communal dance card here is that it's basically saying there's a little bit of give and take and ebb and flow with this. So you don't have to be the leader all the time, and you definitely don't have to be the follower all the time. So lead and follow, ebb and flow. Do this with others. Co-creation is basically the secret weapon this month, okay? Let's now do something magical and take a look at past, present, and future in sort of honor of the Norns to see what it is in the past that could be holding us back or maybe helping us, what the present opportunity is, and what we should be focusing on in the future, what we're calling in. So these are the big ideas in triplicate here this month because we're going to be focusing on the energy of time. Past, present, future. Interesting. Okay, so let me take a quick drink and then we're going to look at that. Starting with your past card. So this comes through, for many of you, this could be your mom or dad. I try not to read gender too much when I look at Emperor, Empress, but divine feminine energy, let's put it that way. The reversal of this is someone or something that clings to you, that wants to control, wants to influence, or as I said earlier, can sometimes step in. The Queen of Wands has this as well, where they're just afraid to let you fully be on your own. Like the mama bird wants to put the baby bird out so she can fly. There's a reversal on this, which is like, I'm going to keep you close because I'm afraid of what it might, like the empty nest syndrome. So there might be someone in your life that was afraid of letting you be your own person. There could be someone still in your life that has that kind of influence. You're going to realize you've always had the power. So I didn't say this in today's single card pull because there's only so much I can say in 1 minute. But a Hierophant, specifically I was using the Brady Tarot, but it also had a key, just a single key, very much like the Wild Unknown. But I like that. It's saying you have the key to do this. So whether we're looking at the Hierophant or the Empress, you have the power to do what's necessary. We have Green Woman here, which is also very cool because this is the energy of fertility. So you can do this. You can make it work this time. There may have been past failures. Some of that had to do with misdirection or misperception, but not necessarily to do with a lack of skill. So in this moment in time, you're being set up for success and for growth, okay? Let go of the person or the feeling like you need someone there to help you, because this can also be a dependence, even if the other person didn't want it to be codependence. It's kind of like training wheels on a bike. They're only meant to be there for a day or two, but sometimes they're there for like months and years. So you got to take those training wheels off so that it can just be you and your balance, right? Figure out where you want to go. present opportunities. The portal is open. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Some of you may be stepping into a new home. I just did that. It's an apartment, but it's my home. Some of you might be opening up to what the Ten of Pentacles represents, which is marriage, partnership, relationships, something big in business, something that you're giving back to the world, abundance in the highest forms. It's definitely a lot of abundance with the Ten of Pentacles. So this is a time for growth, and you're stepping into it. You're not stepping away from it. You're going from the cave of the hermit to this beautiful Ten of Pentacles energy. So all I see here is an opening for you, right? So if you're really, really ready for that, embrace it. And again, the important thing here is you don't have to do this alone, and that doesn't mean that you have to be in a marriage or anything of that nature. I'm talking about business partnership, friendship. We have so much. Actually, we have to look one more time. Every single card on the side is communal. So this is part of a hive. This is part of a colony. This is all about the company in which you keep. And this is communal. This is group. So group. And this is also a group card. So very much energy around groupings. It's not just love right now. It is groups. So this can be much more platonic, much more supportive, much more community-based. But that is the key. Community is key to the next phase of growth and creating a new chapter in your life. What does the future hold? Whatever you want it to. So we're basically, the Two of Swords is saying, I'm not sure. But if we look at this, they didn't quite do what I would expect in this card. I would love to see like the heart there. The heart and the feather is very Egyptian. But this is okay too. It's weighing the difference between something that looks good on paper, all the coins, and what your heart is representing. It should be light as a feather. So I think for the future, giving yourself the ability to go into what feels best and what gives you that sense of lightness of being, and also lightness in your subtle body, just really feeling bright and light. And that's going to be the key here. And the future is being written right now. You get to decide. And what I see right now is a beautiful opening, a beautiful capacity for great things. So don't worry about the future. You get to choose. That's actually ultimately what this card is saying. Even in tarot, the Two of Swords won't tell you what to do. So it's a very apt card to come through for us looking at the future. It's saying, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to know what to do. You have to feel it out. And we have injustice here. So you're going to right the wrongs. You're going to balance the scales. I like to remind folks that with both the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, all you have to do is take one of those swords and you have an ace. You're going to let one thing go and you're going to choose one thing. You're going to choose the best that you can in any given moment in time, and that keeps giving you ace after ace after ace. Okay? Beautiful reading today. Let's take a high look at everything here today, and I'll do just a little mini summary here, because this is a lot to take in. So one thing that I would say here is you're headed in the right direction, but you need to have reflection. Don't limit yourself. You have so much capacity. Any failures in the past were just context. Failure is the wrong word. They were just lessons. Pain is also a teacher, but we don't have to keep going back to pain as a teacher. Leadership and partnership, definitely major themes coming through. Some of you already have it. Some of you, you're going to meet it. Every single card in the expanded forecast has to do with groups, people, and partnerships. Suffice it to say, there's no way to get away from it in the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. So it's all about figuring out how you fit in that, or if the group or the partnerships that you're with right now are serving your highest good. And if they are, fantastic. And if they aren't, then it's okay. There's going to be more people that will find you. You're magnetic. And the most important piece is with past, present, and future. You are stronger than the sort of people that wanted to hold you down or hold you back. New doorways are opening up. More than one. This is just a single portal. But if it's a home, there's multiple doors and windows in that home. So you get to choose what you want. And this is very much a choose your own adventure. Life is a choose your own adventure. And even the cards here won't tell you what you need to do next. They're just saying what you can, they're not going to give you that much. When I'm looking at this, you're writing your own, this is a blank page. And I would expect that if I'm reading it for the collective, I can see everything but this one for you. But this should give you enough to fill in that blank page. The one message they are saying is that it should feel good. It should feel lighter than it has in the past. Okay? All right. Let's talk about what's coming up next. So we have 3 things that are going to wrap up the reading together here. We're going to meditate in a moment. We're going to listen to a quick sort of singing bowl, and then we're going to go into your final card. The final card can help you dig a little bit deeper into this question of like what's next, or something present and pressing. What should I do about this? Am I correct on that? It'll be a validation in those matters. Okay? I have an asked accept at the beginning, so please, if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and like it. I do wish to see a little bit more engagement in the videos, because if we don't see a certain level of that, they don't get served up. So I work really hard on these weeklies, and I'd love to have more people see them. So if you like it, engage with it. And when it's on replay, comment. It's easy, it's free, and it helps. So that's all I ask. If you would like to join me on social media, please feel free to do that. I do share all of my shorts on social media. And also I announce stuff. I may go back to putting some clips from time to time as well. I see that there's a feature now where I can clip to shorts. If I have time, I'm doing a lot already, but if I have time to create more clips, I might put them up there. Remember that I don't offer private readings, and I don't use direct messages. I'll never follow you from a private account. I don't have backup accounts. All of those are signs of someone that is not me. If you'd love to show support, you can do that here. I'd love to see it. I will say thank you individually at the very end. I'll do my best to pronounce all your handles and usernames and names, but thank you in advance. I do appreciate it. It allows me to do all of what I'm doing, more content creation. All right, let's meditate together. So, looking at all of the lovely cards in front of us, I love the partnership energy that we see here in all of these. And I'm trying to think of what might be the nicest. You know, I like the bee. The bee is fun. So let's work with the bee because it came through for today. We did a little bit of that before, but it's okay. The bee wants to show up a few times this week. We'll let it. Close your eyes and see yourself in a field of flowers, flowers of your choosing. Around you is a beautiful forest, and you're in this very large clearing where there are a few stones, there's a bench, and the sun is shining brightly overhead. Maybe there's one tree to give you a little bit of shade. Just allow yourself to sit on this comfortable bench and take in the beautiful scenery around you. If you're feeling a little bit more playful and want to really ground yourself, you could lay on the grass. It's nice, it's soft, it's dry, and you'll really connect with all the flowers and all the nature around you. As you close your eyes, listen to the sound of hummingbirds as they buzz overhead. You can even hear the buzzing of the bees as they are taking all of the pollen and the nectar and moving it around and bringing it back to the hive. Smell the beautiful flowers that are attracting all of the different types of pollinators, including butterflies and other types of birds and different types of insects that are calling this their home. And feel all of this movement of energy around you. See this beautiful green glow start to wrap around your body like a glove, and touch the ground if you'd like to, so that you can tap into that even more. And see this beautiful green energy coming up, almost as if your hands were roots that you were going to dig into the ground and your feet were roots. And connect with the energy of the earth. So there's this beautiful green energy moving through you, connecting especially to the heart center. That's the natural color of that chakra. And you just see beautiful green abundant energy flowing all around you. Now imagine something in your life that you want to see that energy flow into. It could be a relationship, it could be a project, it could be some sort of development in your life. You might be trying to open up a door or a portal in your life as well. See the green energy doing whatever you need it to do, and understand that you're just channeling the energy that's already been here, it's always been here. And allow yourself now to pull your hands into the heart center and say to yourself something akin to the following. You can adjust it however you'd like. I am powerful. I am creating, and I am capable of creating and making whatever I'd like to have happen in my life. Let's summarize it, make it shorter. I am a powerful being capable of manifestation. That's it. I'm a powerful being capable of manifestation. Keep thinking those words. You're powerful, you're capable, you're manifesting. I am, I am, I am. And keep chanting that as I play the singing bowl, and then we'll come back and look at your final card. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself now to stand up and stretch a little bit. Fully pulling in all of this energy, maybe doing a sun salute, holding your hands at the heart center, and again, believing in your capacity. Focus now on the final card. Think about whatever question you might have for me. And as soon as I put the singing bowl down, I'm going to take a look and we'll see what the cards have to say. Okay, focus on your question, and I will pull a card, see what's going on. Okay, so we have a card here reminding you to find your balance, also reminding you that sometimes so as a yes-no, what I'm seeing right now is that it might be time to sort of disengage or disconnect with another person, this codependency that we talked about before in the past with respect to this card, what we were looking at with the green woman. It's coming back once more here, and it's saying, I am willing and I am ready to kind of like uncouple or disengage and reclaim my power and my energy. I'm patient with myself. I understand that things happen one step at a time, and when I find that balance, when I find that ability to kind of take one step in the right direction, everything starts to follow. And so for many of you, this is a choice right now to decide that if you need to make a certain change in your life, again, even if it's unpopular, it might be what's necessary for that balance to happen for you. So in this moment in time, I would say yes, but don't rush. If you're looking for a yes-no, yes, but don't rush, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I would say the other thing here is things don't happen overnight, and we have to be patient. It takes time to coil things up. It also takes time to uncoil things. So the next phase in your journey is going to be one that requires patience, diligence, and an understanding that everything in its own time. So there's a nice cosmic timing thing here. You've whatever it is that you want to create or do, or whatever it is that you're starting to build, just in time is what I'm getting. And there'll be plenty of time to catch up later, but we want to get a nice firm foundation first, and then you can catch up later. I do get a little bit of a timely fashion in that as well, okay? So that's the main energy for that question. So find your balance though. The most important thing for you is to reestablish or reconnect with maybe a lost balance in your life, putting others first, losing your own footing, somehow kind of like not prioritizing what matters the most to you, okay? And then the other thing here is just sort of like work-life balance, looking at all the different aspects of our life where we might be putting a lot of different energy in places where, you know, they don't need to be put. So this is basically a time to recalibrate, to be kind and patient with yourself, and to basically know that, like, just like a Kundalini awakening, as you start to awaken to your journey, to your path, everything takes time. So that's what I feel like I need to say for that, and that's it. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for showing up today. I like to always end my readings with some gratitude, and I appreciate everyone, whether you've been here from the very, very beginning, 8 or so years ago, or you're brand new and you just showed up today and found me from like one of the shorts. It's good that you joined me in this moment in time. All right, I'd like to take a couple of moments here to welcome new members, and then I'll say thanks to anybody that gave a super sticker. While I'm doing that, thank you, Dakota, for your help today. It's always good to have you here. I appreciate your help in moderation. And I appreciate everyone in the room for keeping everything on a nice level. It helps all of us. Okay, so let's see. New members. All right, so this will be anyone that joined in the last day or so. Starting off with Cindy. Cindy V, thank you so much. Brand new member, just joined. Julie Lenz, also brand new. Good to have you here. Elia, also brand new. Million Siegland, I think it is. Thank you as well, brand new. Isha Marie, welcome back. Good to see you. Familiar face there. Esmeralda, brand new member. Let's see, Kiki Ed Miranda, also new member. D, White Quills, Om, Krim Kali, Leslie Annette. Most of these are new, but a couple rejoined, so thank you so much. Let's see if there's anybody else that in the last day, let's see. Garima, I can't pronounce this one yet. It's Garima 1, thank you so much. And I think that's everybody. So thank you to all of those new and returning members. Good to have you here. Now for super stickers and super chat, let's give some shout outs here. Okay, starting off with the first for today, Cece, Panda Bear, thank you for kicking everything off today. I appreciate that. Isabella, Eileen, Cindy V, again, thank you. Fisty Ann, thank you. Mermaid Crystal, let's see, 20 Dragonfly 201. Audrey Christopher, Liz Morrison, Angela Jetstream Stover, appreciate it. Thanks for your 1 year of membership as well. I appreciate that extra little piece. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Heather Height, Mad Monica, Leslie Monaghan, Jackie DeVilliers, Hokulani, I think it is. Thank you. Isha Marie, Esmeralda, Aphrodite Goddess 369, Myra Rodriguez, MZ Rach 017, Jeannie Hart, Rose Rasmussen, Bonnie Hagen, Josie Lett, Miss Melissa, Eileen, Jules in July, Jordan Gloss, let's see, Monique Blue, LCB, Lucy Rodriguez again, Eileen again, thank you, Elizabeth Quigley, Josie Hall, I think I've seen a few of these a couple times, so thank you for all the repeat contributions. Kathy Ahern, Melissa P., Shannon Thorpe, Tanya Hanscom, I think it is, and Jaya Journeys. Let me see if I missed anyone. Marlene White, thank you. And I think I got everyone else. Yeah, cool. I'm glad that many of you like the new place too. I saw that Sarah LaRock with the highlighted comment enjoyed the new space. I have to pinch myself every day. It's such an amazing shift after being in the tower for a while that it is a reminder to me and to all of us, like when you go through a really uncomfortable situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a living situation, sometimes they just seem to go on and on and on. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it does require a lot of shifting and movement. So it was difficult to move. But I'm happy I did, and I'm still unpacking. I think I have maybe like 15 to 20% of the stuff in the room adjacent to me that I gotta kind of like move it today. But it's very nice to be here. It's been a year of transitions for me because I lost a parent earlier this year. I had to help with all of that stuff, and then I had to move And that's a couple of really big life shifts. So I just feel this sense of relief right now, and it's really nice to be able to hold the space with all of you. So I appreciate this. And I'm looking forward to doing some fun stuff now. Now that the dust is settling, like I said, I've restarted all of the dailies. And starting this week, I'm going to do something new. It'll either be the 7 minutes, everything you need to know in 7 minutes sort of thing, so that you can have a quick pulse check on what's coming through. I just have to think of, I might put a poll up today or a post up, what you would be looking for in that 7-minute shakedown, because I've already done the 7-day forecast. So I think it's some higher level things like the inner saboteur, or, you know, like the inner magician, looking at some of the biggest and best things and the things that you want to avoid beyond blessing and blocks, but like the really sort of big stuff. So I'll play around with it and I'll come up with a format and we'll have fun creating some new stuff together. Okay. From my heart to yours, have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule today. If you like what you see here, please do me a favor and share it with someone else as well, so we can continue to see some growth here. All right. I think I see another person that gave back here. So thank you, Monica. And I think I said thanks to Marlene. All right, everyone, lots of love and light. See you guys soon. I'll be back tomorrow. Actually, before I wrap up, let's see. I think I'm doing Capricorn next. Yeah, Capricorn next. I'll have a bonus one on Thursday, and then I think it's Aquarius on Friday, and I think Pisces the following week. But you can check the schedule out on my website in case I got anything wrong. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great one, and thanks again for your love, your light, and your support. Bye-bye.